I bought this car for Drift Week. I don't even need this car. I have another F80, makes 1200 wheel, but I wanted this to come here.
Hello YouTube, I screwed up this interview already because I don't have an iced tea in my hand. But this is cool because this doesn't need some type of like deep philosophical like title or anything. The man brought a freaking F80 M3 to Drift Week. This entire thing speaks for itself. He's balling out of control. There is no car on Drift Week which is as comfortable as this or as cool as this, I think.
AC on everything.
Why'd you choose this chassis?
I have another one of these that's like the fastest, highest powered one in the world currently, and I like it. I used to do dumb things on public roads with it a long time ago, and then I always wanted to come to Drift Week since the first one, and I was like, oh, they're letting other people in? I was like, I'm gonna do an F80. I just thought I like the car, it's powerful, it has good torque, and I was just wanted to do it, so I was like, I thought that'd be an easier in than saying, can I bring one of my E36s to you? There's an easier way in.
Plus, you don't have to drive the E36 this way, you drive this.
Dude, this
thing
is
is
AC
amazing.
and everything. It's great. It's great.
So, I guess we'll get into this car and stuff, but to first preface it, because you have a 1200 wheel one or whatever, you want to tell them who you are?
Yes.
And what you do?
Yep. I'm Jordan from Arcade Tunes. I do factory SOOOOO BMW tuning on, I fucked that up a little bit.
No, you keep going.
I do factory SOOOOO BMW tuning, and we do also sell some parts we make, like this car has our intakes, downpipes, charge pipe, all those goodies. So I'm pretty much a tuner. This is more so because I wanted to have fun. We don't build race cars like this for people, really.
Yeah.
It was a big learning experience with the angle kit and stuff that I don't know what works, but yeah.
You chose good parts though.
I tried.
You chose a chassis that does everything. Does it have coilovers and stuff?
It has coilovers. That's BC Racing coilovers.
Okay. SLR angle kit?
SLR angle kit, which is a lot of weirdness going on because it's not really for this car. It's for E90, so we had to make it fit. But it was good. Chelsea drove it and he was like, oh, it's not that bad. He was expecting horrible.
Well, the car looks rad.
Yeah.
I was watching Chelsea drift in it, and he was murdering it, like first lap, basically. He was a little bit timid on the wall. He wasn't throwing the car super hard, but it was pretty funny. So I guess let's talk about, we can talk about the car, or we can talk about tuning. Because like you have been around BMW tuning now for how long?
Like 10 years.
10 years?
9 years.
And what has BMW tuning been like over the years? Because I got into like an M3 back in the day with a Dynan kit, and there was no like real aftermarket tuning, or no one could do it. It was kind of just a dead end, like putting that supercharger on my car made the car worse. Literally made the car slower as well, putting a Dynan supercharger on my E36. And then over the years, now there's tons of guys making huge power, like one of our drivers, Michael Van Schellenbeck or Chelsea, and they're running stock ECUs, and the things seem indestructible and awesome. That sounds like I'm trying to like sell the idea, but I'm just explaining. So do you want to tell us like what the market has done or the industry has done and why it's working so well now?
There's a lot of people that have done a lot of things for a while that were not necessarily right. I sort of, I guess, figured out what works in a way for a lot of these cars and what works pretty good. And I've done hundreds of E36s, a ton of these, so I've sort of learned what works. And the cars do work like the E36 is. Like this car, for example, is an off-the-shelf tune. I never even dyno. Like I have a dyno room, everything. We didn't have time. It's just like I know that the tunes work. Because we've done so many. People ask me what power makes, I say 520. I don't know. So tuning-wise though, I think just more people pushing it. And then there's been like a lot more people doing like DIY tuning, which has actually found more things for everyone, stuff like that. But just the ability to try different things on different cars, like Chelsea's car, huge learning curve. Mike's car is normal. 700 horsepower E36 is like simple. And then also,
and it's so reliable at that.
He drove, I think he went 5 or 6 years and he changed it. He's like, I heard like the oil wasn't perfectly clean. So he redid bearings. 5 years of drifting.
Yeah,
like,
that's wild.
That's a lot.
They're so good.
I think just time and more experience has let it go a lot further compared to what it used to be.
So this platform, I'm asking him all these questions.
You're good.
Because I kind of want one now. Is this as good as the old M50, S52, all that kind of stuff, M52 platforms for turboing? Because when I say turboing, it comes factory like that. Are they super reliable? Because the N54s were disasters.
Horrible.
And also the, whatchamacallit, the S54s turboed are kind of disasters. I made a video a couple years ago where Michael Van Schellenbeck and I sat around and we were thinking, we're like, why would you build a turbo BMW and not use an S54? And then after watching some people do it and running our series and how expensive it was and how unreliable they were compared to the older motors, I was like, God, BMW nailed it with their super old stuff, and everything they've done since then is overly complicated and fails. So are these like that? Do you need rod bearings every 60,000 miles? Do they have any weird BMW quirks? Are they junk?
Yeah, they're not junk. They do have quirks. S54, I think part of the problem is they pushed it so hard for an NA motor that you lose some level of reliability. The more power you make, but these have a crank hub that fails, which is like losing your time belt. Bend valves, everything's horrible. But they sell fixes that you drill the crank on the car, like the snout, and put pins in it.
How easy is that?
It's like 20 hours labor, I'd say. But like if you're quick, day and a half.
Jesus, I'm not quick.
But yeah.
How many cars really do that, and at what power levels?
Completely random, but in my opinion, after about 600 wheel horsepower, 580, it's going to fail on you. If you have 500 horsepower and you miss a shift, over rev it, that puts a lot more stress on it, so higher chance of failing. Past that, reliability-wise, no one talks about bearing issues. Most of these cars are relatively newer still. This car has 45,000 miles on it. But with that being said, every single one I've taken apart, the bearings don't look great. They don't look like they're falling apart. But like, if I have this till 100,000 miles, or I do 1 million of these drift events, I will take the bearings out and inspect them. I've taken apart my other one at 18,000 miles or 15,000, and for sure, they don't look like they're bad, they just don't look new. So bearing-wise, I wouldn't worry though. You go 120, 130,000 miles easily. Other than that, I mean, this is stock turbo, just bolt-ons.
What are you doing, Cy?
My lens is dirty.
Do you need to clean it real quick?
A little bit.
Clean it real quick. Keep rolling.
Good.
And sponsor time, thank you so much to BC Racing Coilovers, the most supportive coilover company in the entire industry, who swept Formula D and all kinds of stuff recently, supports the grassroots scene so much. Drifting would not be the same in the United States without them, and neither would Lone Star Drift or Drift Week, so thank you so much, BC Racing Coilovers. Thank you to ECU Master for supporting another Drift Week. The other Drift Weeks would not have happened without ECU Master's support, so thank you so much, ECU Master USA. Thank you for making great products such as standalone ECUs, power distribution modules for your cars, all kinds of cool boost controllers, sensors, all kinds of stuff. Thank you so much, ECU Master. Thank you to Y-Plate Imports out of Portland. If you need an imported car from Japan before they get too crazy expensive, it is your time to buy one right now. Contact them. They'll tell you how much it is to find your car. They'll get you in touch with how to do the whole process. They'll show you auctions. They'll tell you everything. Just contact them. Also, thank you to Torco Fuels and Oils for coming on board. It is awesome to have a great company like that, both helping out with money to help throw the event, but also with product. So we'll be using their products on the trip. We're gonna incorporate them into drag racing to see if we can get the turbo cars to go a little bit faster by adding some more boost and some more octane. So thank you so much to those guys. And thank you so much to Drift HQ. Drift HQ is bringing out the Drift Van Support Vehicle, which really helped out on Drift Week 2. They carry so much stuff. They're out of Florida. They're bringing it all the way to the Pacific Northwest. They support so many drifters from around the world. Drift HQ is a huge company now with tons of products. Go to their website, see what they sell, support the companies that support the content that you watch. Thank you so much. Did we cover them all, Si?
Yo.
All right, back to our normally scheduled stuff. I saw that.
The camera's gonna be like the sky.
Oh, it's candy.
What?
It's been there this whole time?
It's
It's candy on his lens. There's candy on his lens.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah.
All right, so the platform's pretty good.
Pretty solid, pretty reliable, I would say. Pretty good.
That's pretty rad if you don't really need to do anything. Like, this is stock boost pipes, stock intercooler, stock everything, or what have you added?
Okay, we have our charge pipe and J pipe. The factory one's plastic. I don't see it break that often. If I wasn't here driving thousands of miles, I would not have changed it. The intakes we did because I like the noise and it gives me like 10 horsepower and sucks air from the grills. So the air filter is actually there. The intercooler can fail and leak a little bit. So I have a stock one on my car, but I have a new one in my trunk. No, I want to change it, but priority wise, it's not broke. It's not broken. So I have wheels that don't fit my car as we've gone over. It's like, it's been a little bit of a headache. So like getting the car to go around the track was more important than fixing something not broken. So there is little things, but like you can hop in one of these, no J pipe, no intercooler piping. stock intake, like a tune, make 500 horsepower, and drift it. And at 500, it's not extremely unreliable. I would say it's pretty good.
Okay.
I don't know about with the e-brake and clutch jumps on the Crank Cub, but I would do that at
Hopefully
least.
it's not bad. All right, so let's go over the car. Stock diff.
No, not really.
Oh.
You want to go front to rear?
Yeah.
Or you want rear front? You start on the diff. Let's start on the diff.
Teach me, because I just want to know what it takes to make one of these work.
Okay.
So just explain the necessary parts and go through real quick.
Okay. From the front to the back, power-wise, we'll go with first. Our intakes, our charge pipes, down pipes, intercooler if you're feeling like it. This car has a spec clutch in it, which we did because I didn't want the OEM clutch failing once again here. It didn't necessarily need a clutch. I have stock drive shaft, stock differential, but it's locked on all the time as electric lockup. So it's pretty much go welded. You hear me driving around, right?
Wait, what?
The stock diff has an electric motor that changes lockup. Normally when you floor the car, the front spins, moves things inside and applies more lockup, okay? Like a two-way or one-way. This is electric motor applying lockup. I don't have a blown up image, so I can't show you, but
You're breaking my brain. So are there clutches?
there's clutches. So, okay, like there's a clutch stack, right? And there's a roller bearing. And then there's something here that's like moves in.
So it's like
And a motor spins this.
screw?
A screw.
Okay.
And it applies more force in the clutches.
Weird. So does it work seamlessly and you don't know what
No,
it's
it's
doing?
horrible. If you drift one of these cars and you get off the throttle and back on, one entire fire car straightens out. It's impossible.
Weird. So
We made something, which I probably wouldn't sell to anyone unless they really want it, that it's always locked on. So not a normal car.
can you put it on a switch or something?
Yes, if it's electrical, mine's mechanical. So I could definitely use the motor and override the power to it and put a switch, or I had to figure out how it works. We just mechanically spun it and locked it, and it's a bolt-on solution. So it bolts on,
Interesting.
tightens, and you're good. So we did that, so it's like a welded. You hear me drive around.
All that
It
work?
sounds like a welded.
All that work for that crazy diff and you just like make it a welded.
Yeah, we didn't.
That's
I
interesting.
didn't understand how a differential works, so I didn't think that it would do that. I thought it changed the lockup, and it would still lock up more on throttle. But I've learned a lot about differentials in doing that. So I don't know if I would do that again in the future. Maybe you just spend a little bit of money and buy a differential
They're like $3 grand or something.
all
for
day
these
long. I have one in the other car just to go straight. I should trade the diffs. I should put this in that one, and that one in this one.
things. That's crazy.
But yeah, I didn't want to do it. And then it has drive shaft shop axles. I don't know if I need that. I just had them sitting there in a box.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's do it rather than not doing it.
Okay.
So I did drive shop axles and then hydraulic e-brake, suicide brakes. Like the e-brake goes to the rear.
Suicide brakes.
That's what they tell it.
Oh wait, you deleted the rear brakes?
Yeah, my brake goes to the front.
Oh my God.
But because Chelsea was very worried the ABS would freak out
Yeah.
with me pulling the brake. So now doing this, with traction fully off, I haven't seen any lights flickering. So I probably could have done the inline, and I probably will maybe do it. But I have huge front brakes. Who cares? They're massive.
No, I get it. It's just
Yeah.
hilarious. Because I'm just like, I'm going to street this thing. It's going to be rad. And
And he's
I
like,
welded
welded diff, freaking no rear brakes. Yeah, it's like that. I mean, I didn't have time to experiment. Now going back, I can make things better.
Okay.
But I learned. And then that power-wise, I think that's it. Oh, oil cooler on the is under here.
Yeah.
You can literally hit something in the road, brakes, leaks out the oil. So they make a metal cover that protects it.
Why not just move it?
You can move it too. That'd be too easy. That'd be too. I'm pretty sure it's a little wide to go straight up. So you probably get a different oil cooler that's a hair skinnier. I mean, do you see how much room there's in there?
Yeah.
You know, a cool look with like a fake intercooler that's really oil cooler. It would look great. I don't know. I just didn't do that. I just put the brace on it.
Oh, wait a second. Does this have a front mount intercooler or are these the air to the water intercoolers?
Air to water.
Oh, so-
That's what breaks. It's plastic end tanks on
That's
a
right.
metal center.
So when you say it leaks, you're not just leaking out air, you're leaking out coolant.
Coolant leaks.
Oh,
coolant
let's
leaks
play a
into the
game. Wait,
motor.
let's play a game. I totally forgot how batshit crazy these cars are. All right, how many water pumps does this car have?
One mechanical one.
I thought this one had like a low pressure and high pressure.
This car, they went back to a normal water pump. That's part of why the crank up fails. Because you have
Oh.
2 high pressure fuel pumps, 2 oil pumps in the pan, and a mechanical water pump. So it's a lot of weight or mass on the chain drive.
Okay.
So then you're fast shifting or missing a gear or downshifting hard, jerks it and breaks it loose.
How many fuel pumps?
2 high pressure pumps and 1 brushless factory low pressure pump. So
Okay.
3.
So 3 fuel pumps.
But the high pressures I've never
you said
seen fail.
2 oil pumps?
So in the pan, there's actually 2 oil pumps. But it's sort of stupid. I'm almost positive, and
Or
don't
do you
quote
mean
me.
2 pickups or 2
No,
oil
okay.
pumps?
Don't quote me. Don't quote me. I'm pretty sure one of them just sucks from the turbos. Okay, almost
Yeah.
like a suction, so you don't have oiling issues. And potentially, I'm not sure, goes from the rear to move it to the front. I'm pretty sure only one goes to the engine. Does that make sense? Like one just sucks out of the turbos. But if someone tells me I'm wrong, I could be wrong.
I think you know more about this thing than most people.
Yeah, but
All right, what other crazy junk, like 3 fuel pumps, like, does that, because I
has a
thought,
cool looking e-brake, I think.
are the B58s better than this?
Oof. It takes a lot more money to make this power, but they don't have a crank up problem. They're reliable to about 750 horsepower.
That's crazy.
But so, like they're not better than this stock for stock, other than the fact that they don't have something that fails all the time,
Yeah.
like the crank up. But I mean, here's the thing: I have no turbos, I have no fueling upgrades.
Yeah.
Car's got a tune. Do you get me?
Yeah, no, I get it.
But if you do a
That's awesome.
B58, you're talking about upgraded high pressure fuel pump, a turbo. You're adding some level of unreliability.
Yeah.
I was thinking about doing a single turbo kit to this, basic, 6266. But it wouldn't benefit me at all.
Yeah.
It would just sound cooler and be cooler maybe, but this is more functional with the twins that respond like nothing. Like
Yeah.
3,000 RPMs.
Yeah,
all
BMW
in.
twin turbo stuff, like, it comes in so early.
Yeah.
Look at this thing. It is so cool.
I love it too.
Also,
I'm happy you love it.
Why is BMW on crack? The new M3s look awful, and the new M4s, it's like an abomination. You just bought one.
Yeah, I was just like, oh man, he's kicking me while I'm down.
This is such a good looking car.
Agreed. This is a great
This is
looking
like the
car.
best looking M3 ever. This
It's aggressive. It's
Yeah.
so nice, aggressive. I love it. Trust me, I know. The G80 that I got, the new M3, for example, I don't think it's the best looking car at all. I got a 6-shift one, which I'm sorry, I don't think it's the best idea. On a brand new car, you get the auto because it's faster.
Yeah.
I got it because I'm gonna get an auto all-wheel drive one when they come out. So I already know that's gonna happen. So in the meantime, I was like, let me get something that I'm not gonna get an auto one and the same car all-wheel drive. It's actually really good. But here's the thing, the only problem I have, that car wheel hops with the differential. Oh, I have a differential brace in this car, I forgot to mention. Stops wheel hop, diff slapping around, needed. I don't care if your car has no tune. When you floor the car in first gear and the diff goes like this, diff brace. So companies sell a diff brace that put another ear on. That car needs one. But in terms of looks, the new M3, I mean, it looks bad, but in person it's better. Go to the dealer. Go look at one.
We
You
did.
Oh, damn.
We did. It was really bad.
All right, well-
no, let's just say this. How about this one styling or the new G80?
This one.
Okay, there we go.
No,
That's all that needs to be
no
said.
question. No.
The car company should never go backwards that hard.
Yeah.
How about E46 M3 or G80 for styling?
I know which one I would take.
Which one?
G80. I'm a
it's a
turbo
better
guy.
car.
I can't
Okay,
get a
that
car.
makes
You're
sense.
talking about S54
I'm
turbo.
saying the look of
The
it.
look, I mean, E46 is like a nicer car, maybe. But the
A
G80,
20-year-old BMW is
but
nicer.
No, here's the thing. You drive around the G80, it get looks. It's a nice, I don't think it's that bad.
I don't think it gets good.
It gets looks that people are like, oh.
Random weirdos are like, nice car, because I think it's like something new and like whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's grown on me a lot because I've been looking at it every day.
Okay. Can we see the engine bay and stuff real quick? Ooh, and
Yeah,
Sai,
sure.
come here. I'm gonna sit down in it.
Sounds great.
Look, these aren't stock, are they?
No, I have also, I didn't mention it, but I have carbon
God.
fiber around the whole car, like trunk floor. I got some guy, yeah.
Look at this. I'm gonna put your seat back for a second.
Sounds great.
So, get in here, Sai. Look at this. We have a manual transmission, riced out shift knob. I love it. Hydraulic handbrake. If you miss, you can punch out your dash and break all this stuff.
Miss.
I mean, you could like, I've done that before, but not with the dash. I've punched my drift car dash.
Oof.
This is cool. You don't have the paddles. I've only driven paddle shift
It's
ones.
so weird how often I'm like really tired and I'm driving.
Oh, and you're grabbing
And I go, the G80,
Yeah.
once every few days I'm driving, I'm like, oh, you expect it, you know?
Ooh, that transmission feels good. Kind of notchy.
It's stock,
Weird.
yeah. No shifter either. I don't really like short shifters.
Neither do I.
People look at me weird, but
That's tight. That feels nice. The interior is ridiculously nice. I mean, it's a stock BMW.
Yep.
It's so nice.
the seat could hold me better. But
Look at this. He just like dremelled, just like crooked, a little tiny spot here for the handbrake. This is like $100,000 car. He's just like cutting it.
Yo, if you actually look, I posted a bunch of things, and you'll see me. Sawzall is like my #1 friend. Most of it. You'll pull it twice.
Twice?
There's no hood latch, like safety latch.
Yeah.
So the safety latch, oh yeah, I mean, looks wise also, I have the GTS hood and whatever carbon stuff, and I tinted my headlights.
We don't even have to mention it has air conditioning. All that stuff is. Oh my God! All my radios are fun.
So
Look at how many radios I have, Si.
The priority list of detailing the engine bay was really low. So unfortunately, the engine bay is quite dirty. But this is it, stock intercooler, like I said.
So this is air to water intercooler. So instead of being up there,
these are my intakes to get a little bit cooler air from the front grill. The filters are actually in there, which I love the sound of.
does this thing overheat and like do anything bad?
So I wasn't really checking out the temps out there. I was doing a few laps, letting it cool off, even though it wasn't getting hot. On the road, they're amazing. People upgrade them thinking they need to be upgraded. They add 0 power, 0 reliability. The radiator looking thing in the front helps a lot more upgrading that to one that holds more water and that cools better. Doing that doesn't really change anything.
We have a friend with an Infiniti set up the Q50 or 60 engine and all that stuff, and they were having tons of thermal problems with the, because it has 2 tiny air-to-water intercoolers, and they deleted them and went to a front mount, and then they were having amazing luck with lower intake temperatures, the car not going into limp mode, and it doesn't overheat anymore. But this seems adequate because it's an M part.
Yeah, I guess. My other car has a front mount intercooler, but to do that on this car would be a lot of work and completely pointless, I think,
Makes
because the intake ducts run through there, so you choose. You leave the air filters in the engine bay, like most companies, and suck a little hot air. I mean, sucking hot air from the engine bay and cooling it from the front is better than my intakes and that cooling, I guess. But it's a decent bit of work to route it through there. You need to remove this reservoir, put it over here with a different model one, that's like a little round one I have in the other car, and your charge pipe would run through this way. It can work, I have it in the other one, but it's not a huge thing right now.
This is the most ricey piece ever on a car.
OEM.
No, I'm just saying, it's so ricey for BMW.
You think so?
I like
the
it.
roof's carbon fiber, different.
I love how they're like, here's our 3,600 pound car, whatever this thing is. It's got carbon fiber all over it for no reason.
Yep. And no wheel aligners for easy adjustment.
Do you know how much the battery in these cost?
$1,500, maybe $2,000. First off,
I don't think normal people are ready for this stuff.
So here's the thing though, I have let mine die. So not because
because you weren't driving the car?
No, leaving the car on actually shuts off power to the car. It doesn't kill the battery. I can leave everything on, walk away, it will shut off the car for you and stuff. So it's almost impossible to kill the battery, but it can get old, and then like you'll turn the car off and it'll tell you the battery's old. I've never ever had an F-Series car not start from a battery.
So have you ever had to replace the battery?
Nope, never. I've never had a car in my shop with a dead battery. And my other car is 2016, and I mean, it only has 18,000 miles. I've never put it on a battery tender, and it's sat a long time. But yeah, when they do go bad, it's a ton of money. Yep.
We'll do it in a separate video.
Sure.
Do you know a lot about N54 motors?
Somewhat. I'm not the biggest fan.
I was gonna say we could talk about it later.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan.
We could just like dissect what's wrong with them and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And do you think this is probably the best motor that BMW's made recently? Like, say the S60.
Oh no. So I'm a turbo person.
N63s?
So N63 is horrible. The V8, all the V8 BMW motors are sort of kind of garbage. The inline 6 is where it's at. So do I think it's the best? I think probably the S58 and the new M3 is probably the best. Mine made 670 wheel with 85 in a tune. No mods.
The new G80?
Yep. Stock is 460.
Wait, how much? 700?
No, 670. 670.
That's like gotta be.
And it's not done yet. It'll probably make 700 wheel. No downpipe, no intake.
That's like close to 800 crank.
Easily more, probably around there. I have 2 mods. I have a piggyback because you can't tune the ECU yet. And if I could, it would make probably 30, 40 more. I have a piggyback and I have supplemental fueling with 85. But the car does not have to come off the ground to install it. You install it all up here. And the car goes from making 460 wheel to 670, and 6130 goes from, I never tested stock, but stock on an auto car was 9.6. I've gone 7.0, which is, it's also the fastest, it doesn't matter.
Wait, 7.0 what?
6130 test, 6130.
You mean quarter mile?
No, like 6130 is a test that people do because these cars don't hook good usually.
Oh, 60 to 130
6130 with a draggy or something, Yep. So stock is 9.6.
I don't know anything about road racing.
Stock is a 9.6 on an auto car. That makes 30 wheel more. My car's gone 7.0. On the way home, after I had to leave to go get a flight, which is like fast for that. It's the fastest one of those so far.
Crazy. So how repairable is this car in general?
I mean, for me, it's not bad because I have people that fix it.
Yeah.
But serviceability, it's very overwhelming to look at. It seems very scary.
But if it has a $2,000 battery, like how awful is every other component?
I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that hard to work on. Like even to time this motor is easier than an E36 engine.
Really?
You literally put the blocks on, tighten it, take the blocks off. E36, you have to like move things, lock the vanos. Nope, this is easier. I mean, but there's a little bit more going on. 2 turbos, electric wastegates, water lines to them, coolant lines to them. There's a lot going on. I mean,
Electric wastegates?
Yeah.
Do those fail?
I've never seen one fail.
Oh, cool. All right, I think we've asked most of the stuff about this. I'm just genuinely curious about this. I think this is so cool. And people are, like Drift Week was kind of a crazy idea. And immediately I started seeing people like Trevor build a car just for Drift Week, and Adam kind of did. Some other people built specific Drift Week cars. I think I'm gonna check my phone just 1 second to make sure nothing crazy. Nope, we're good. Yeah, I'm always worried somebody's dead. Drift Week cars are kind of evolving, and this is such a cool Drift Week car. And again, do you want to say how much it cost or no?
I can if you want. It's rebuilt title, so no one really knows that. I mean,
That's
you
fine.
can get it out, whatever. But these cars go for like $37,000, $42,000. I got the car for like $27 because the car was hit here before. But I mean, it's pretty good.
So what I was gonna say is, that sounds like a ton of money, but if you've been in racing and all this other stuff, it's not a ton of money for something so interesting and unique and crazy. If you're building, you know, an LS7 240SX, you're gonna be way over that amount.
Yep.
And to be able to have some weird, kooky, like street car like this that makes so much power and is such a cool drift car, and there were extra parts added that he talked about, but to have something 500 wheel and OEM all this stuff, if you don't like smash this thing into a wall, which you could do this weekend because we're at a shack with a wall.
Walls.
This thing is so cool and I love it. And
thank you.
I'm excited to see it here. You've kind of classing the thing up. Each individual person that kind of raises the bar and brings something really cool, because we have a 650 wheel or whatever Mustang here.
Yeah, and that was
looks super
funny
new.
because I talked to you about bringing this car and whatever, and then I get Ed, and the guy's like, I'm buying this Mustang for this thing. I was like, oh, okay, I see you.
The Mustang was more expensive than this.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But he bought it done, supercharged, everything.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Those were factory installed components.
From the dealer.
Or dealer installed
Oh,
components.
okay, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
All right. Anyways, I just think this is so cool. I know that a lot of us have a lot of money in our drift cars, and I know beating on this thing, maintenance could get it really intense. I know beating on this thing with body-wise could get pretty crazy. Are these OEM like just E90 doors or whatever? Or
F30? Yeah.
F30
They're
doors.
so if you crash the doors, easy.
Okay.
$300 each in a junkyard. I've looked it up before. Not
Yeah.
for this car, but for
the expensive things would be like these panels. Are they crazy?
I don't know what they cost. I have not had to look that up, but they are M3 specific.
And I bet the hood's crazy, but you could also just do an aftermarket hood or
This
something.
is an aftermarket hood. They're about $800.
Okay.
But there's also the GTS style. So many people have done them that you can
This
get the
is
OEM
rad.
one for $200.
What's it made of?
Aluminum.
So you're getting aftermarket aluminum hoods?
Yup.
That's insane.
Crazy,
That's so cool.
crazy.
Because,
The
you know,
factory's
they don't-
aluminum.
They don't do that with 240SXs and stuff.
The
We don't
fact-
get aftermarket aluminum parts.
Yeah.
Probably the bumper cover is kind of expensive, but probably not crazy. If you're buying a B&N kit, you're used to expensive prices. But anyways, super cool. Probably $2,000 headlights. Are these shared with normal BMWs?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. Probably not. They're probably really expensive.
Yeah,
probably
I
a
don't know.
ton of expensive parts. But I just keep saying stuff.
The taillights also are like a copy of the GTS taillights. They do cool sequential things.
Oh, are they aftermarket?
Yeah, that's like $500 for taillights.
So cool.
Could be worse. People buy sequential taillights for other cars for way more than that, right?
Yeah.
So,
You get that OEM, like it's cheaper to buy stuff that, they sell a lot of. All right, I think that's it. Thank you so much for explaining stuff. Do you have anything you want to pimp or anything? Your products, you make mail-in tunes?
nah.
Yeah, say
Oh
what
yeah,
you do.
sure. I mean, you guys can definitely check us out at, we've been posting a bunch of stuff like about this car build, the G80 stuff, and the random customer cars we've been doing on YouTube. But also, I'm just hyped to be here.
Where on YouTube?
Arcade Tunes. Arcade Tunes. I'm really just hyped to be here because I, since the first one, wanted to come. But I told Mike Van Schellenbach, I'm like, I want to come, but I can't. I wasn't invited. But I was like, I can't drive. And then the second one, I'm like, damn, I want to go, but I don't know how to drift.
Michael didn't drive either.
Oh, he didn't drive either?
Well, no, his car was...
The last one.
He was trying to build his car.
Didn't he go to the first one?
He didn't go to his second. He went to the first one, but he was building his car
yes,
for the whole
swapped
trip.
it to a 4-door, was rushing, never made it. Yep.
Yep.
And then he finished up with his car.
He trailed it
Drift
all the
Week.
way to California and then back.
Dude, for nothing. But no, I just wanted to come do it because I never drifted before like this. I never drifted like on track really.
You're doing really
Before
well.
this,
But
so-
you have a fantastic teacher. He's friends with Chelsea DeNofa.
Yep.
So you can't have a better teacher.
Yep.
Okay, thank you so much. Boom.
Peace.
High five.
Thank you.
It sounds so bad. What are you doing, BMW? The car is like 10 out of 10, and then BMW is just like, LOL. Here's the exhaust.